What is going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Sorry for being a little late, 1 minute or two. We've become so good at being on time. Occasionally, the donation goal settings it makes it even worse tonight. Olivia's not here, which always is hard. But now we had to come up with a makeshift donation, so I got to add them all up and try to keep track. And good luck. Leeroy is in the house tonight. Good to have him here.
On, folks.
Good to have you here, buddy. We're getting close to D-Day, bud. We're going to start counting down to 7 days here soon with you getting out here and finally meeting in person, which I am so not uncomfortable about that in any way, shape, or form, and normally I would be, but I feel like I don't think there's any
chatting for such a long time that I'm just absolutely
comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm ready for some very cross the line intravenous drug use with unprotected sex while taking the Lord's name in vain. All key parts of a good relationship, folks. We'll be back in 3 minutes. See you then.
Howdy, y'all. This is Damani Felder. These are perilous times in American history, and now more than ever, we need individuals who are willing to wage war on the ideological battlefield with like-minded individuals. And I can think of no better place to start than my friends at the Don't Unfriend Me show. So thank you for being here, and enjoy the show.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What's going on, everybody? New light. Leeroy's going to inherit a new camera, new light. And he looks good. I mean, we bought him a setup. I don't know. It's like $500 back in the day. But we're going to take care of him. And back in my day.
And I was appreciative because this is really nice. This whole thing has been fantastic ever since we put it up.
Yeah,
I think what Matt is saying is that
it sucks.
It's about time for an upgrade. I get it.
It's time. And dude, the level of upgrade is like ridiculous. I mean, because it's basically what Olivia and I use for our cameras. The glass, he needs to be further back, but the glass is incredible. I mean, and that makes the camera. If the glass is good, the camera is going to rock. And pretty much depending upon the sensor and the CMOS. But this, and then the lighting we have for him also is good too. So he's got everything. The only thing we probably need to consider, we have an upgrade on the mic. So we're going to get him all set up. And then Amy, I think we're going to upgrade her to a Shure SM7B2. So we're just going to make a couple tweaks and help with the show. Yeah, these are fantastic. And I've got a powered one, which is great for you. So you can go right into the computer. So you're not going to need a board. You don't want a board. So we're really excited. We're trying to figure out how we're going to do the show. And I think what we're going to do is do it in our living room. There's a fireplace there and a real nice sitting area that we can all kind of sit in and do kind of an ad lib show that's just kind of really talking about who. Yeah, it's just got us talking about 4 years and what it's been like, and when Leeroy came in, when Olivia came in, and all that type of stuff. I mean, it'll be fun. So that's what we're gonna do. Anyway, so welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show. This is Leeroy. Leeroy, say hi to everybody.
Hi to everybody.
That's so corny. Such a dad joke. That's okay.
Say good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie. That's right. Does anyone? There's another. There's another one that does that line, and it's in Pulp Fiction. And when the wolf brings his niece, and he says, "Say goodbye," whatever her name, and she's like, "Goodbye."
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Just like that too.
Dude,
what's a good? Go ahead.
We have all of the dad jokes here. Probably the best one that I've heard in the last 48 hours is, what is worse than ants in your pants?
I don't know.
Uncles.
That's probably true. My uncle's dead. Thanks a lot, dude. Really appreciate that. Both of them. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show. We'll let you guys in on all the little secrets later. Why is hold on. Oh God, it's always a problem. We're trying to figure out why this is
donations.
Doing this. Yeah. Bring to front. Maybe that'll help. Hey, there we go. And then bring to front. There we go. Okay. Donations are good. I'm going to have to manually put these in. It's going to slow the show down a little bit. So get them in early, and we won't have to farkin' worry about this. How about that, folks? So first donation tonight, I want to say thank you to Bobby, just because you guys are cute, Bobby says. She's got that right. I think that's worth a little bit more than $51.99. I'm just
Matt
saying.
Certainly has an advantage on me in that department.
I think I've just got the height. I just think I'm tall, and
got that chiseled chin and that muscular beard thing going on. Yeah.
Okay. And then Amy Bordeaux, $14.28. Your contribution keeps us going, you two. So thank you so much for that. Total tonight is $66.27 thus far. Good to see. If we get them in early, we won't have to go ahead and screw around with that. So appreciate that. So gold tonight is $300. Appreciate it. Let's get into what we're going to talk about tonight. First is inflation, a topic that I know for a fact Leeroy absolutely loves to discuss. Now, you guys know I am not a big fan of Harry Sasson and guys like this. But I do show what they talk about because they are impacting a younger generation. And surprisingly enough, our 18 to 24 demographic is actually increasing, which is unbelievable. For 4 years, our demographic between the ages of 45 and 65 have been through the roof, predominantly with females. But our young male 18 to 24 demographic is our second largest growing demographic on the show. And when I say it's big, it's big. So we have also, I want to give you guys an update on Mark Zuckerberg. Since he has promised to stop throttling people, we have went viral 9 times. And since January, we have impacted 47 million people. That's incredible. So it's amazing. Now, once again, when it comes to having Facebook not throttle our channel, that's a completely different situation. But we do at least feel pretty strong about where we're at. So we hope you do too. We appreciate you. And we will mosey right along. But it's good to see that we're at least showing some signs of life, even though it's slow tonight on Facebook. Twitter people, do your magic. Get us going. Let's get into it. Got a video for you. I want to talk to you guys about it. And there is a gentleman who is a very prominent figure in the Democratic Party who just loves to talk about inflation and talk about why all of it is Donald Trump's fault. Now, this guy never talked about inflation when it came to Joe Biden. Never heard of it.
I was just going to ask you if he has a last name that's really a first name, but doesn't sound like we're talking about the same guy now.
Well, I'm not even going to give him. This is a guy who has went and debated Nick Fuentes, and he is just a tumultuous little turd and impetuous. And he has an AI bot. So everything that comes in audio wise, his AI bot answers everything for him, and he just reads the screen and he pretends that nobody sees it, but everybody sees it. I see it. And the difference between guys like that and me is that I don't do that shit, and I can't stand when people do. And when I do it, I say, hey, I'm gonna look this up real quick. But here is the argument. It's a very small, minuscule argument, and I know we'll have some things to say about it with inflation. But really, the question is, can the president of the United States control inflation? Does he have the tool? Well, you don't answer it now. Does he have the tools to truly impact inflation and make an immediate impact like the Fed does? For instance, lowering interest rates, or the U.S. Treasury Department by stop printing money, or reduce fiscal spending. These are all things that can have an immediate impact. But there's also the other side of that coin can have immediate negative impact on them too. But does the president have any tools in their belt to have an immediate impact on inflation? Let's listen to this video and just bear with me with this kid. I know his name. I don't even want to give it to you. I don't want anyone watching this tool belt.
Only reason that prices go.
Oh, see, he's even loud. I mean, that's just even the worst. He's just loud and obnoxious, and I'm obnoxious, but my God.
Is due to inflation? Is that the only reason that prices will go up? Yes or no?
Inflation is defined as prices.
Is the only reason that prices go up is due to inflation? Is that the only reason that prices will go up? Yes or no?
Inflation is defined as prices going up.
But I'm asking you, is that the only reason? I know what the inflation definition is. Well, is that the only reason?
It's not that it's due to inflation, it's that it is inflation.
Lord have mercy. I know, I get it. Is that the only reason that prices of gas and groceries will go up?
Wait.
Is because of inflation?
No.
Here, hold on.
A few moments later.
Wait. I want you to define the term inflation.
Dude, stop.
No.
12 seconds later.
Well, it's the general level of prices for goods and services rises, reducing the purchasing power of money over time.
Thank you. So you just defined inflation as rising prices.
That's not what he's...
Bingo.
So I'm gonna.
Not the same.
I don't think you're getting this.
I don't think you're getting this. You just said is the only reason for rising prices. You get that?
No, you're not. Hear me out. Hold on.
Walt, please just hear me out, please.
All right. So before we jump all over this, a fragmentation is when you go ahead and say, how about this? Leeroy.
Yeah.
Psychotic, homicidal maniacs and people who suffer from psychotic episodes suffer from 13 to 14 personality disorders or character traits. One of them being borderline narcissistic personality, a lack of empathy, a lack of self-awareness, and we can go on and on and on and on and on. So if I give you the definition of somebody with psychosis or a psychotic behavior, and I simply say to you, narcissism is what defines a psychotic. It's true, but it's not
it's only
all-encompassing, it's only partly true. And in order to make up the whole of inflation, you have to listen to the entirety of the definition versus just the segment that you get a boner for and want to go ahead and play gotcha moment. This is why I cannot stand online debates with people. Leeroy, please describe inflation in a very simple way, and why the caller who was saying that rising prices are caused by inflation is different than saying there are multiple different ways for prices to rise, which ultimately cause the inflation. Can you explain the difference, please?
Sure. So, well, first of all, what is inflation? The kid that was on the video, that was one of his first things. Well, first, can you define it in a real sarcastic tone? Inflation is generally accepted as an overall price increase among all goods and services, right? So it's not defined to any one particular niche market. It's not going to be defined to just groceries or to just automobiles. It's everything. And the reason it's everything is because when the government is printing too much money, it devalues the dollar, right? And so the problem with the logic that kid was using is he wasn't listening to the question, or at least he didn't have any intention of answering it in a good faith discussion.
Right.
When the caller says, is the only reason that prices go up, would that be inflation? Obviously, the answer should be no, because there can be multiple reasons.
Give me 3 reasons off the top of your head that prices could go up. Sure. That have nothing to do with inflation, but cause inflation. So we're assuming inflation. First of all, inflation is always in place. There's always inflation. There has never been a time that there hasn't been some inflation in world history. It always, because the population has always increased. And therefore it has an impact on the market. And the supply of goods is sometimes limiting. But there's always inflation, always some inflation. Okay, so give me just 3 simple things that can cause inflation, even when inflation is already here.
Sure. So the one thing that most producers of something can't control is their supply chain from beginning to end. And what I mean by that is, let's use automotive market, for example, right? They can't necessarily control the cost of fuel or labor, or even how supply and demand within the market can fluctuate prices. So there's 3, and none of them are a direct cause for the actual reason for inflation.
Right. So let's work on this completely different. Is there anything? Is there just one reason inflation can be caused? Or are there multiple ways inflation can be caused?
Is this rhetorical?
I don't think so. I think we need an answer because that dipshit wanted to make it that just because rising prices is in the definition of inflation, that he believes the cause of inflation is rising prices, when it's an ancillary impact. It's an auxiliary impact due to a certain situation, which is...
Okay. There's 2 most people will tell you, most major economists will tell you that there's really 2 solid reasons, and then it's too much government printing of money and too much government spending of money. However, when you peel back that onion 1 extra layer, you realize that the government spending is really ancillary to the government printing. They will typically,
because you can't spend without printing.
More. Exactly. You can't spend more without printing. The reason you print more, generally speaking, is to get more money in the system, right? Yeah, that's what I was.
Okay, so now that we understand that overall printing money devalues the dollar, By devaluing the dollar is worth less. The buying power ultimately, what used to buy 5 now buys 3.5. Therefore, margins decrease, prices then increase, but the overall purchasing power is less. So it is a compounded effect. And the reason why is because prices don't go down. That's not the way they work. If initial market release demands that a DVD player is $999, it is worth $999. But as we know, 20 years later, you can go to Walmart and buy a DVD player right now for $1999. And it's just as good as the one that was $1,000 by Sony or whatever other company, Sharp or LG, not LG, LG wasn't around. So my point is, market decides cost, but not value. The value is defined by the overall worth of the dollar. And this is the problem with a free market economy, different than China, which can manipulate its currency in order to go ahead and increase its value. But that doesn't necessarily, that's a parlor trick. And ultimately, as long as they keep moving the goalposts on the world economy, their overall market value will retain it unless there is a correction. The United States government works different. The United States government just prints endless amounts of money. And because its credit rating is so good, people just believe it. The only problem is the free market feels that. And the reason why they feel that is because when you dilute the market with more money, the valuation goes down, even though it stays the same on the world market. It's still currency manipulation. It's done 2 different ways. So when the United States prints endlessly, the question is this: does the President of the United States have the ability to stop inflation without the 2 things necessary, which are time and patience? Can they do something today to impact inflation? That's the question.
Well, so the presidency does have some level of sway over the Fed. Now, is it 100%? No. But he does have a fair amount. And really, it's split between those 2 bodies, right? It's split between the president and the Fed that basically determine what our current levels of inflation are, which today hover around 3%. Under Joe Biden's worst terms, under his worst months in the presidency, we were suffering at between like 9 and 10%. I've even heard some economists debate as high as 12 is what I was going to say.
But remember, it's compounded. So the problem is that it's not 3%, because if you're comparing to yesterday, it's 3%, but you have to look from 4 years ago. And when you look from 4 years ago, prices are up about 28%. Because remember, once the price goes up, it doesn't go down. A loaf of bread has never gone down in its life. A gallon of milk has never gone down in its life. Now it may if it's close to expired or there's an overabundance of moo fuck milk. But overall, it doesn't move. And this is the problem. It doesn't move to the south. It moves to the north. So when the dollar's value is less than what it's supposed to be, but prices continue to rise, this is the ancillary that we're talking about. It's an outcome of printing money and fluctuating the market with an overabundance of it is what causes inflation. So when the dipshitola, the dipshitiot is my new name for people, when the dipshitiot says rising prices are the cause of rising prices, that is just a person who is claiming that they understand economics, but don't understand economics. And this is what classic projection looks like. So if anyone ever tells you that rising prices are the cause of rising prices, you can say, no, the printing of money is the cause of rising prices, which ultimately impacts the valuation of the dollar. And when the buying power is less, therefore it does less, and it yields a result that is less. So therefore, prices don't really have to increase because the valuation of the dollar is going down. But because of that valuation going down and the purchasing power of that dollar does not have the same penetrating power it once did, inflation occurs. So when the guy says raising prices causes inflation of raising prices, that's not what it means. It means that you're a dumb dick. It's right. You're the dumb dick who just doesn't understand the actual term of inflation and what causes it. So you're trying to go ahead and discredit somebody else because you don't know either. Go ahead.
Right. We've said this before on the show numerous times. Higher prices aren't the cause of inflation. They're the result of it.
That's why it's right.
An interesting factoid that I just recently pulled up off of Fred, federal something. It doesn't matter.
Regulation and something.
Yeah, suggests that 35% of all U.S. dollars in existence were printed in the span of about 10 months. So that should tell you during that 10 months, if that's when 35% of all of the dollars that are currently in circulation, if that's when they were printed, can you imagine what the inflation rate was during that time?
Well, here's a great question for you. Can the president control inflation once again? The answer is no. The president does have no authority with the Fed. Just because he appoints a person for the Fed, it doesn't mean that he can ask him to resign or go ahead and force him to lower interest rates or increase interest rates. He has very little influence. He can put political pressure, but ultimately it's an autonomous unit. It's very much supposedly supposed to be run like the Department of Justice. But I want you to listen to this clip. Donald Trump comes in. What's hilarious is it was just posted, which I absolutely love. And Donald Trump comes in and gives us a great tidbit of information with what we're talking about. Listen to this.
Almost no inflation.
Jeez Louise, Twitter's got to get this shit fixed.
And yet I charged hundreds of billions of dollars of tariffs to countries. And think of it, I had almost no inflation and I took in $600 billion of money from other countries. And tariffs don't cause inflation, they cause success. They cause big success. So we're going to have great success.
All right. So do tariffs cause success? This is not an easy one to answer. So let me just give it to you straight. In the short term, no. In the long term, quite possibly, but it depends on the country. And is the country appealing to businesses to invest and move their businesses to the United States? Well, the only way you do that is by lowering taxes and corporate taxes. So can you make the cost of goods easier to make in the United States than being out of the United States? And if you can do that, then you'll draw industry back to the U.S., which is good. It creates jobs. They spend their money here. They invest their money here. All of these things are positives. That takes a little time. However, reciprocal tariffs are a completely different thing because they adjust the free market. They basically say that your taxes that you've applied to us are unfair. So we are going to create reciprocal tariffs, which are actually applied to your goods coming in. Now, when you do that, you create a disparity based upon the country's size and overall how much they buy or how much they export. In this case, the United States exports very little to Canada, but it brings in a ton from Canada, and Canada relies on this revenue to be successful. Now, we take a lot of energy and things like that from Canada, but overall, we consume a hell of a lot more than them. But you would think that that would hurt the United States more because it's going to cost more, but that's not the case. Because with reciprocal tariffs, what we're saying is that we want to get to a net neutral, just our purchasing buys versus overall taxes, which increase the amount of money and the differential between our negative or positive in our trade deal. So when we go to Canada and we say we're going to give you reciprocals, this is the narrative, Leeroy, and you're going to help me answer this, and then we're going to move on. Sure. Is we hear all the time, you can't put tariffs on Canada because it's just going to hurt Americans and raise our prices. If that's the case, then A, why does Canada have tariffs that far exceed ours on our product right now? And there are thousands upon tens of thousands of tariffs on our products. that we bring in from Canada. And if it hurts the consumer in the U.S. so much, then why would Canada increase these tariffs to punish us? So is it that the narrative that the media says that tariffs are going to increase the prices on us, or is it that Canada knows better and is using the extra taxes for unmolested, unaccosted, unaccounted for revenue that it relies on by fucking over the United States? Leeroy, I'll let you tee that up.
Oh, it's definitely the latter.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing is, and I've watched, there's a particular geopolitical analyst that I've followed for years. Matt knows what I'm talking about. And the guy basically suggests that the United States has one of the most isolated economies in the world. And he's not wrong. As a percentage of our GDP, we are the least exposed. And it was a huge number. It was better than like 40% of all of our exports are just solely held up between two countries, Mexico and Canada. So we rely exceedingly small on the number of exports from the United States. Most of our wealth generation is created from within. So for Canada to try and play this tit for tat game where, oh, well, if you're going to tariff us, we're just going to tariff you. That's not going to work for you because there's already a huge disparity. We don't need as much. This is basically a political stance to say, hey, look, the time of screwing over the United States is at an end. You're not going to do it anymore. And there was nothing wrong with negotiating way back when to say, hey, look, if you want this, right, it's going to cost you something. We used to negotiate like that all the time. For whatever reason, in the last 30 years, the left had just let go of that. They had completely let go of the idea of negotiating at all, as if to say, if the United States wants something, well, we'll just take it in the shorts and screw over the American taxpayer. Donald Trump is really one of the first guys to come in and say, no. The days of the blank checks are over. And I found that to be kind of refreshing, honestly.
I got a quick video, but I just wanted to show you. Olivia got me something for my birthday. She got me my P365 macro. So I am very, very happy. I was very, very close. Mods are all coming. So I've got my glass and then my macro light coming. But very, very stoked. It hands down one of the smoothest guns I've ever shot in my life. Action is ridiculous. It's like glass. The double stack, it comes up so beautifully. It's balanced. Fits my hands absolutely perfectly. And then here's the kicker: 17 in the mag and 1 in the pipe. 17 in the mag.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one Ryan has, and he loves it. Loves it.
So this is the Macro X.
So I'm surprised that fits your hand that well. Again, my older son has one of those, and I don't think it's tricked out quite like that. But but when I put it in my hand,
well,
your hand must just engulf that thing.
It does, but my back kick plate is a little bit stronger. So, but I thought it was going to bite me on the double stack. So when I went into position and double stacked, I was like, well, I'm going to be pushing my flashlight here. So, but my double stack on my thumbs is actually, I was worried about getting bit. But the great thing is that this back lip is so prominent that it covers my entire hand. So it's so deep in my hand.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's like glass, and it comes up so freaking smooth. I mean, it's gorgeous. So I'm in love with it. Like I said, I've got the Sig Sauer glass coming for it. And then I got the XL7A macro coming for it, which is beautiful. So yeah, I got the green dot. Yeah, that's all I need. I don't like glass. I like iron sights, but I'm going to try it and see how it works. And I've heard it's great. So
dude, Scott from Kentucky Ballistics, he got that gun, that exact one. And he he did a torture video for 45 minutes and just really decimated this poor thing, but ultimately couldn't break it.
No, you can't.
He said that was his argument, though. He loved iron sights, and he always fought the idea of using something with optics for his carry. And he admitted he's going to start doing it. So,
well, I'm doing glass because it comes up so nice, dude. I mean, I'm not kidding. I don't care how I draw it, where I draw it from. My come up is it's right on site, no matter what I do. And I don't have that with the Glock. The Glock you got to work a little bit for, and then the HKs are also the same way. But this just comes up beautifully. It's perfectly balanced, and that's why I'm cool with glass on it. And I wasn't. And I've never put glass on, but it comes ready fit. It's already ready for glass. It's about an inch smaller than my Glock 19. I get an extra 2 rounds, and I'm pretty stoked. I was going to do the Legion, and just the price point was like 14. I'm like, fuck that. I'm not doing that. So anyway, just pretty excited. So figured I would cut in on that. Sorry, folks. This is a quick video you guys need to see, and this will kind of walk us through and move us into the B block, but this is useful information. This is a good video. It presents well. Here it is.
President Biden claims he's handing Donald Trump the strongest economy in modern history.
We're leaving behind the strongest economy in the world.
Americans know that's not true, so why is the Biden administration, along with his friends in the legacy media, continuing to push this lie? The answer lies in what's been the Bidenomics playbook since day one. Twist the numbers to make Biden look good. Here's the actual state of the economy. First, Biden's spending spree left the U.S. with $36 trillion in debt. The interest alone is costing taxpayers over $1.1 trillion annually. Those numbers alone would be enough to debunk Biden's claims, but that's just a start. Let's look at the year-by-year federal deficit. There has never been a bigger federal deficit than the one Biden is handing off to Trump, other than in times of severe national crises. But we're not facing a severe national crisis. The pandemic is long over, and we're not over. Take a look at this. In 2019, just before the pandemic,
Thank you, Robert, for subscribing on Facebook. We appreciate it, being a part of the Dumb Nation over there. $1.99 a month. Thank you. You get to meet all the Don't Unfriend Me followers and say hello, and it's kind of a good little place to go to for $1.99. Thanks.
Yearly federal deficit was just under $1 trillion. In fiscal year 2024, Biden's runaway train spending deficit hit a stunning $1.8 trillion, an 80% increase from pre-pandemic levels. How did this happen? Biden's reckless spending set off inflation. That inflation induced the Fed to raise interest rates. The result is that Biden set our economy in a death spiral of higher debt levels and higher interest rates, driving each other up. What else is Biden lying about? He tried to claim that inflation has declined to pre-pandemic levels while wages have increased. As most Americans know, that just isn't true. During Trump's first term, the average year-over-year inflation rate was 1.9%. Under Biden, inflation peaked at 9% and has settled to around 3% or higher as the new norm. Inflation never decreased to pre-pandemic levels. What about increasing wages? Sure, many Americans might have seen their weekly paycheck go up, but the hidden tax of inflation means that your paycheck doesn't go as far as it used to. That's because real weekly wages, your paycheck minus inflation, are down 3% since Biden took over. This is the actual economy Trump is receiving. Rather than the strongest economy in modern history, it's a house of cards built on federal debt, creating one of the most dangerous economies in modern history. Far from fixing the economy, Biden has sent the economy spiraling out of control, and he's handing Trump an economy on the precipice of disaster.
So, something to think about. Heritage Foundation is going to come up later in this conversation. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that was from Heritage. I absolutely love them. Heritage Foundation is actually where Thomas Sowell had some ties there, and so did the great Milton Friedman. Thomas, by the way, whose greatest quote had something to do with inflation, said inflation is one of the forms of taxation that can be imposed without legislation.
That's the P365 by Sig Sauer, and it's the Macro X. If you don't look it up, it's a new firearm. It's beautiful. I think it's the Legion. That's the upgraded version. I didn't need it. I don't need bells and whistles. I don't need to spend. I don't need a $2,000 rig. I've got my expensive rig, and I've got my AR, and I've got my 308 I've got my expensive weapons. These are my everyday carries. If I drop it, I don't want to scream that I somehow scratch the olive drab frickin', upper on that thing. Yeah, I want to be able to kick it and beat it. All right, fair enough. Folks, we'll be right back after this, and we'll get into the B block and get the rest rolling. Thanks.
The Dumb Show is built on real conversations, raw, unfiltered, and fearless. Big Tech didn't like that. Facebook pulled our funding, tried to shut us down. But for over a year, you, our incredible viewers, have kept us going. Your support, your donations, your time, it all matters. Most of you spend 10 plus hours a week with us. Compare that to Netflix, maybe 5 hours a month. We believe we're worth that time. And we hope you do too. But listen, we don't want giving to feel like a burden. We want it to feel good. So take a second to ensure you're in a good spot. If you're in a place to give, that will be amazing. If not, just liking and sharing helps more than you know. Visit thedumbshow.com/donate. Whether it's PayPal, Venmo, or Mail, every bit helps to keep us going. Dumb Nation. We appreciate you more than words can say.
$66.27 is where we're at for donations so far. Not bad for the beginning of the block. Most people wait till the end. Give me a heart attack. $300 is our focus tonight. It was Olivia's birthday. That we raised over $1,000 yesterday for Olivia's birthday, which was pretty awesome. So wanted to say thank you, everyone, for that. Leeroy, Epstein files, Epstein videos, 9/11 release, John F. Kennedy files. Pam Bondi walked in there and said, I'm just going to release everything and it's going to be so transparent. And I'm sitting here laughing my ass off. Once again, the President of the United States cannot declassify TSI. And this proves it, folks, because if he could, he wouldn't need to pawn it off on Pam Bondi and other people. Donald Trump does not have the ability to declassify something. He has to go through the redaction process before. I've tried to tell you this. Remember when everyone's like, Kash Patel said he could. Well, he was wrong. Leeroy and I both told you Kash Patel was wrong, and he is. You go through TS and above, you have to redact it. Now, this is what Pam Bondi's saying. I want to get your reaction. Leeroy, I'm in an I told you so mode, but this naivety cannot stand. You can't make promises that you can't keep, but here it is.
What are the things that, and maybe some people don't understand the need to redact. In the case of a victim, that should be pretty obvious to people. What are the other things that maybe you would have to redact?
Well,
national security?
No, of course, national security, some grand jury information, which is always going to be confidential, but
always makes me wonder when we're talking about a child pedophile who went ahead and trafficked children and farmed billionaires and influential people to fuck kids. What part of national security are we concerned about? I wonder.
Let's look through them as fast as we can, get it out to the American people, because the American people have a right to know, not only on that, but on Kennedy, on Martin Luther King, on all of these cases that the Biden administration has just sat on for all these years. So yeah, it's really, it's not sad. It's infuriating that these people thought that they could sit on this information, but they can't. It's a new day, and we believe in transparency, and it's going to come out. And when we redact things, Sean, what we're going to do is not just pull pages out like they used to do. If something's redacted, you will know the line and you will know why it's redacted.
We're moving some goalposts, aren't we? Just a little bit. I mean, to be honest, what are your thoughts? I mean, of course, I know I'm supposed to be loyal to everybody in his cabinet, and I can't say anything disparaging. I've just got to be happy, happy, happy. No, I'm not, because I've been waiting 45 years for the JFK files to be released, and I am just a little wee bit tired of waiting. Go ahead, Leeroy.
The left likes to claim that everyone who's on the right, all of the MAGA group or whatever the case is, that they are just blind loyalists, and that they will never question anybody on Trump's cabinet or Trump himself because we have to fall in line. We have been proving that wrong for the last 4 years, and this is yet another case where Matt and I find ourselves in complete agreement, which is a little annoying. about 3 weeks ago, when we covered this, we said that if and when the JFK files ever really did get released, that they would be redacted AF, which is to say you wouldn't be able to read them. She's only proving everything that we've said as true.
Right.
Like, nothing that has been released has been exactly, earth-shattering. Like, you're only getting a few new nuggets of information that are really, are kind of on a lower level of importance. So this doesn't shock me. They're only going to release the absolute bare minimum, what they have to. And I have to imagine whoever the OCA was, for those listening, OCA is the Original Classification Authority. That's what Matt was talking about earlier. That's the person that ultimately has to go through and redact a document. Trump can't do it by himself. He can't order anybody to do it. It has to go through certain channels. So I have to imagine that the OCA must have had just an absolute worst day of his life trying to justify why he wasn't going to release the whole damn thing,
Well, let's answer this question. Why would you need to redact or make something confidential?
Sure.
In the John F. Kennedy assassination files?
In the case of the JFK files, it's going to have a lot to do with the potential that some of the people who were involved may in fact been working for the government. That is probably going to be the biggest, I would think, risk there, is that that would be the main thing that I would be cautious of, right?
There's also something called chained collection apparatus. So, for instance, satellite technology wasn't readily available during those times. High altitude reconnaissance was a U-2 spy plane, but the pieces that were inside the U-2 and its capabilities might be utilized in a second generation type of collection device. And then that second generation might be into a third. And then that third is into a fourth. And although the entire unit and apparatus is not classified anymore, like a keyhole satellite, everyone knows what a fucking keyhole satellite is if you read any Tom Clancy book. But the other stages of that generational stepping stone, there are pieces that are still classified. So that's number one. Number two is the implication of foreign governments who have no desire to have it released. There's a lot of rumors out there that Russia was involved, Cuba was involved, the Jews were involved, the English were involved. So you're going to have apparatus and systems that are designed from other intelligence agencies like Mossad and MI6, and those intelligence agencies may have the same concerns. Most importantly, what Pam Bondi doesn't want to say is that there is information in these files that make the United States government susceptible. And people who have been involved, and whether it's 9/11 or JFK or Epstein, who have disseminated information and then decided not to share it with the American public. And that is incriminating beyond reproach because it lowers the trust in the government. If it came out tomorrow and every single major news station said, stories breaking, John F. Kennedy was assassinated by Lyndon Baines Johnson, the CIA, and the Russian government in a...
Trust in the government would plummet.
Yeah, it would just create... People would say, you know what, fuck it. No more paying my taxes or I'm done. I'm never going to show up again to work, or I'm going to revolt, or I'm going to create a militia or whatever. It would create dissension. So the government, the perception that the government is in control is its greatest commodity. And it's also one of its biggest lies because it's just like the slaves. And if the slaves only could figure out that there was 100 slaves for every slave master, that they would have had a very easy time overthrowing the South. Very easy. If only we knew that, yes, we're scared of F-22s and we're scared of tanks and we're scared of all that shit. But if 326 million people decided tomorrow that the United States government was going to fail, it would. And yes, many people would die. But this is the thing that they don't want to do. They don't want to create a cataclysmic event that even lessens the trust in the government even more. And although Pam Bondi is gorgeous and smart, and I think she's going to be great at her job, this is really pissing in the wind. Nothing is going to get released that we don't already know. This is why the Epstein files were nothing. It's a big nothing burger. Nobody's going to be held accountable. These people are so deep-seated into this that I would not be shocked if Jeffrey Epstein was used by the CIA. It wouldn't surprise me at all that he was used to get dirt on rich foreign dignitaries and Americans, to use blackmail operations. This is out of the J. Edgar Hoover playbook. This is totally human intelligence. This is the type of shit you do. You get your target into a compromising position, and then you go ahead and you give them a door knock and you say, we've got these files and we're going to go ahead and leak them to your government. And by the way, we now have a full contact with a U.S. official. We're going to leak that too, and that you're going to be in a gulag in Siberia unless you work for us. This type of shit happens all the time in human. The point is this: the United States government isn't going to be releasing this.
No. No.
Why would they?
Of course not.
Sorry.
Why would they release self-incriminating documents for the world to pore over that would be the most anticipated declassification in history? And why would they let that happen? Never would they. Yeah.
Listen, you guys are like, oh, well, they need to go after the deep state in the swamp. I think you need to understand something, okay? It's like you saying they need to stop the sinking on the Titanic when they're on the deck. They are the Titanic. And Donald Trump may not be what you think he is, but he is in charge of the Titanic. He's on that ship. The U.S. government is dirty to the core, and there's no way you're not going to pick up fleas and hepatitis being on that ship, okay? That's what it comes. And they're down in the Barrows. They're in the bilge. They're with the riffraff. And if you expect them to just snap their fingers and people to listen, I think Elon Musk said it best on Joe Rogan. Hey man, if I keep digging like I'm digging, they're going to kill me.
Right.
I don't know if you saw the Joe Rogan episode, but he's like, if I release what's really happening as fast as I need to and want to, they're going to kill me. Do I believe Epstein is actually still alive and hidden somewhere? Pretty hard with the autopsy photos. I've seen the disparity in his ears and his nose, and I will tell you that even a couple hours dead, a human corpse changes. If you've never seen a dead person, the life, people will say it looks lifeless. Well, it's not just that, but skin loses its elasticity. It starts to pull. It starts to tighten. This is all not pretty stuff. But my point is that, do I believe that Jeffrey Epstein was offed? I think it's awful convenient that some of these things took place. I think it's awfully difficult to do the amount of damage to his trach and to his neck that took place. I think it's awful convenient that the video cameras don't work, but that's not a huge surprise in a government building, because we've worked in a government building, and I can't tell you how many times I've tried to tap into a CCTV and the fucking thing doesn't work. But I will tell you, with all of these things that have a lot of anonymity and a lot of hidden secrecy and cloak and dagger, your mind starts to plug in the gaps, and usually you're wrong. Do I think he's dead? Yeah, I think he's dead.
Fair.
But do I think that he worked for Mossad and the CIA? It would not shock me. Because there's nothing worse than fucking a kid. And that's pretty much the blackmail that you will do whatever for and turn on your country in order not to have to be released. Gary Weichel says, what needs to happen now? We know most of the names on the list because they released it once before, but needs to happen now is people need to get cuffed up and put in jail for screwing with kids. Heads have to roll for this one as far as Epstein list goes. This should have been done a long time ago, but the more they drag it out, the more it pisses everybody off that nobody has been arrested looking at anything. It's time for them to start getting hit. Gary, I agree with you, but it's not going to happen. Because the domino effect will take place. Let me give you a scenario. Say we find out that there are 7 major politicians who are on the list, which we know that there are politicians on the list. Then we find out that the top 5, 6 most important and prominent Hollywood actors are on the list. 10 or 12 bands are on there, some supermodels, but then producers, executive, lawyers, CEOs, COOs, CFOs, princes, royalty. This is what it would look like. We're going to arrest you for this. Oh, really? Well, let me go ahead and tell you what I'm going to say during disclosure and talk about how you fucked your son, or how you sent me nudie pictures, or how I've got dick pics of you and your wife with a cuck, or how you went ahead and had a Klan meeting one time and I've got a picture when we were 17, or, and this is the Potomac 2-step. Everybody's got dirt on everybody. Everybody has this information, and everyone has a get out of jail free card. And if you don't have a chair when the music stops, they'll throw you to the sacrificial lamb. And this is where we see people who don't have that influence get tossed to the lambs all the time. You look at the guy who was the putz with the glasses, who was the Republican who got booted. George Lopez, or some Lopez was it George Santos. He got kicked. Yeah, look at the guy from SNL who grabbed the titties of the army reporter sleeping.
Yeah, he was
Al Franken.
Yes, wrote a
Al
book.
Franken got thrown to the dogs. Look at the guy who just got nailed from New Jersey who had the gold bars. Yeah, Garcia, whatever the fuck his name was. So occasionally one of them get caught in the fray. Most of the time, though, they walk between the raindrops.
Well, and the idea there is that if you are an at-risk individual, if you have the potential to do harm to the Democrat Party or to the Republican, well, I'm not sure about the Republican Party, but
come on, you know they're guilty too. Come on,
they all are. But if you're vulnerable like that, and you could give a black eye, then they're just going to out you. They will absolutely throw you to the wolves, right? Because it is in Washington, it is politics and it is party before any love for the individual. They don't care.
That's really what it is.
It is as cutthroat as it is.
And I'm not saying that there's not people in the U.S. government who aren't good people. That's not true. I will just tell you that everybody's got splashed with shit after. If you've been there long enough, you've done something that's going to get you in trouble. That's just the way it works. Do I believe that we'll get answers on 9/11? Well, we already have the answers. It was Saudi Arabia. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. If we found out that Israel killed Kennedy, which is just the stupidest fucking thing, nobody cares. Because in the end, people won't believe it. Because you could have the most damning evidence in the world and people are going to make excuses for it. Here's a perfect example. You just had a child with cancer, brain cancer, who got honorary kicked into the United States Secret Service, who was an African American, and Democrats are now making excuses how him dying of brain cancer is Donald Trump trying to garner sympathy. It doesn't matter what you do. The truth doesn't matter to people. There is no more integrity left. I've been doing this show for 4 years, folks. I've had people go to me and go, how come you're not at 1 million followers? How come you don't have 2,000 people on? Because the truth doesn't sell. When I go ahead and show you the card trick, and I'm the great Gambini, and I show you the card, right? And I'm like, it's a brick, and it's solid, and it's got equal size, and then I turn it to the side, and it's real thin. You've all seen my cousin Vinny. Nobody likes the magician after he releases the trick. They only care because you don't know. And that's why you keep coming back to see the same trick over, to catch a piece of the illusion that explains why your eye and your mind can't go ahead and connect. Why the discombobulation is taking place is deceiving you. But I show you the trick, and then you go,
Now it's not a trick anymore.
And now
the
it's
illusion
no
is
fun.
Gone. The fascination is over.
I would love to lie to you.
The greatest trick I have ever seen was Penn and Teller. They did this bullet catch, one called the bullet catch. You've seen that one? They stick these two guys on opposite sides of the stage. They never cross over. There's a line that runs down the center of the stage from the audience's perspective. And then they set up glass in between them and they fire a gun at each other and catch the bullets in their teeth after they've been signed. Like, you watch that whole act from beginning to end, you're like, I am genuinely like blown away. Like, I have no idea how you guys did it, but it's awesome.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. So
but I don't want to know the trick. I don't want to know it.
Well, this is like Glenn Beck, this is, he has his, Benny Johnson has his viewers. You just keep stringing people along and tomorrow we'll find out the truth. And for some reason, you don't ever ask the question, why do you keep saying that and never telling me what you supposedly know? We like to kind of expose the Oz. And a lot of people want to be lied to that the Oz is real. And I just don't do that. Yes, my followers are fantastic. There's no fucking doubt. I've heard it all the time. People are like, well, let me ask you a question. Would you want to go to a new network or would you want to go national? And if you had 10,000 a night, how would you feel? And I'm like, honestly, I don't know if I'd want that. As long as we can keep hitting goal, I don't care. I'm not in this to make $500,000, $1 million, $2 million, $10 million. I've made that in my life. I've made the big money in my life. I look like I live modestly. Leeroy's going to see my house and he's going to know, but I'm not flashy. I don't do that shit. I'm a pretty simple guy and I've had money and I've been without it. And honestly, as long as I have enough to continue to survive and pay for my home and help my kids and help I don't need anything else. So, we're not beholden to anybody.
Yeah. I read a study once that suggested that once you got over 85, 90 grand a year, that once you've achieved that level, that the level of happiness does not necessarily go up in a linear fashion.
No, it doesn't.
That you actually, because you feel like you're working so much more, that it actually doesn't help. So there is
Yeah, I've had it and I've been without it. And I'll tell you, some of the best times are when I don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate. And like you guys, this crew that we have and the fans that we have, they're amazing. And we get more and more every day where people come in and we see new donations. And I have faith. I just don't. I'll be taken care of. And if I'm not, we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Anyway, we will be right back after this. Got a really interesting block for you. This is about the VA. This was sent in from our buddy Bubba, who is a real good dude. I want to show you a video that is not true, but it's going to shed some light on this VA, this VA BS, and we're going to talk about it together right after these messages.
The Dumb Store is veteran-owned with a 5-star diamond rating for service and satisfaction. We offer quality products like coffee, shirts, hoodies, and hats, all made by veterans. Shop with confidence, backed by hundreds of 5-star reviews. Use code DUMB10 to save 10%. Visit thedumbshow.com today. Thank you for your support.
Leeroy was supposed to move those books because he keeps messing with his lighting on his camera, but he put them back. Once we get the new camera, it won't matter anymore. Oh, so much better. Look at that. You look beautiful. Moab coffee, folks, comes in a body bag, hermetically sealed. It is roasted about 72 hours before they sent it out to you. It's from my buddy Matt Hawley. He's Army. He buys all of his stuff for the year from Kenya, from Colombia, Peru, up and down the world, and buys all of his coffee, Arabic coffee, doesn't matter where it's at. And he bags this for you. And once again, it is some of the most just delicious coffee I've ever had in my life. It's better than anything you've seen as far as like Black Rifle, Folgers, don't care what it is, what you have, Starbucks. You'll know when you brew it. You'll know when you open the bag and your entire house smells like coffee. My daughter came home from school. I was getting a late cup and I opened up the bag and she's like, oh my gosh, you brewed coffee. Can I have some? And I'm like, I haven't even started it, but put this in a French press, 1 cup. You'll be zinging till 9 o'clock at night. It lasts and we will never raise our prices. Coffee's up 25% year over year. And we still have the same exact prices and shipping. It's there for you. The bag will last you longer than any other coffee you've had. Go give it a try. But also remember, we've got some other things over there, shirts, hats, T-shirts. We have a 5-star rating, a diamond rating, with a J Transparency Award. It is the highest rated system. I come from Apple, and customer service is important to me. People will tell you when you shop with me. I will let you know. Doesn't matter what time of day, what time of night you have an issue, you have a hole in your shirt, you have a shipping concern. I don't care what it is. I will take care of you. We don't care about the money. We care about the brand, and we care that you love our stuff. This shirt alone right here is one of the first ones I ordered. I have washed this at least 100 times. It is still perfect. It is still colorful, and it's still amazing. Same thing with Leeroy, with his hat, with his shirt. Everything we wear, everything we have is great. Go over to the Dumb Show and take a look.
And if you would like a Leeroy Jenkins shirt,
yeah,
right, preferably one that, look at the size of that axe. I mean, come on, look at that. If you want one, that's where it's at. It's on the Don't Unfriend Me store.
It's not an axe.
Sword.
It's kind of you're underselling it. It's a two-handed bastard sword, I think. I don't know. Let me see it. Yeah, it's a giant cleaver sword with runes on it. It's amazing. By the way, the new shirts came in. They look so cool. It's gonna be great on the shoot, dude. It's gonna be exciting. Okay, my buddy Bubba sent this to me. He was sweating it. He's like, VA. Trump's cutting the VA. First of all, let me explain something to you. Trump has never screwed over veterans. Period. End of story. Bullshit. Lies. I have never been in a better place when it comes to the VA. I had nothing under Obama. I had nothing under Bush. And I went ahead and sent in my packet and got it re-evaled under Trump, and I was accepted. The wait times are nothing like they used to be. The assistance that we have, the processing time that we have, it's not perfect, but it's better than it's ever been. Trump is an advocate for veterans. So this video, I want you to listen to it. I want you to share this out. And Leeroy and I are going to tell you why this is complete bullshit. Here it is.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Back some time ago, I said that there was going to come a point where this administration was going to do something that you were going to have to stand up and loudly let it be known that you're not tolerating this shit. Well, the proposed cuts for the VA have come out. And you've already seen how they've disrespected police officers by allowing people who were responsible for the deaths of others to be paroled from jail.
Okay, already lied. And your entire credibility is fucking shot. The first 20 seconds of these videos, I always put people in the ground. Leeroy, explain why that's just complete dog shit what he just said.
Well,
tell the specialist in the Army why he's full of shit. By the way, if you're a specialist in the Army and you're getting full range of benefits for PTS and tinnitus and anxiety and depression, I respect Vietnam. I understand what you're going through. But, bro, you were one and done. Come on, man. Come on. Go ahead, Leeroy.
Right. So what he was trying to do was establish some level of credibility in his claims, so that when he finally makes the big reveal that somehow, oh my God, it has to be true because this other piece was true, right? But all he's done there is just sound the dog whistle to say, hey, look, this thing is true because this other thing is true. And as it turns out, no offense, first of all, I have never seen an administration who is more supportive for the police. And whether or not you think that, any of them getting dismissed, their legal charges dismissed for one reason or another, you think that has anything to do solidly with Trump himself? Come on. But the other thing is, I also collect veterans benefits, and I haven't seen any changes. None.
I've seen any either. I had a full service connected disability, 100%, that dropped down to 10% by my own volition. I haven't seen any drop any way, shape, or form. My VA loan's still good. My check that I'm supposed to receive every month for my medical severance goes to the Travis Manion Foundation, which I donate to them. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Second, nobody died from January 6th from anything that happened on J6. It's a complete lie. Yes, there's been suicides. Yes, Officer Sicknick died of a stroke. We understand that. He was also working for 3 hours after the supposed incident. Let's be honest. Nobody died except for Ashley Babbitt and one lady on the other side of where the J6 riot took place. This has completely just been debunked a million times. Does it excuse what they did? No. I've been a very harsh critic of J6, but I will tell you that 99% of the people in there had already served their sentence. And yes, hitting a cop is wrong. Yes, rioting is wrong. Yes, the misdemeanors were wrong. Yes, the trespassing were wrong. 4 years is enough. Give me a break. But let's go ahead and listen to the rest of this guy who's got his Vietnam hat and all of his medals all across his hat to make sure that you understand that the Tommy John sweater that's $175 that he's wearing with the Ralph Lauren button down is all because of his VA benefits, right? Oh, and the Ralph Lauren glasses, by the way. So right there, just in that shot, he's got about $400 just screaming at you. Let's not even talk about the furniture behind him and the nice apartment and the furniture. Oh, come on. He's really hurting.
And they're just walking free as a bird. Here are some of the cuts that they want to do for the VA.
Want to do, not have it. I like your earring, by the way. Want to do. Let me go ahead and explain to you what will be a lie right after he says it. I'll let you know if it's true or it's a lie. Here we go.
Number one, remove disability for veterans that work.
That's a lie.
In other words, you come back from war and you might be less than, okay? But you don't want to sit on your ass like a vegetable at home. So you get out and decide to do something other than sit home and feel sorry for yourself. You're working, you're doing something. So they're saying, no, you don't qualify for a disability payment, even though you are less than as a result of your service to this country. Number two.
That's not true. You will have a review, and usually that review happens every 3 to 4 years with the VA, where they will have to look at your medical situation. Sometimes it's annually. 100% disabled have to have an annual checkup to ensure that your rating is still indicative of why you SEPT, but that is standard for everybody. If you can go ahead and say you're you had an accident being airborne where you jumped and you went ahead and had a horrible landing like some of us did, and you broke a lot of bones in your body and you're 100% SEPT, but you're out there as a ski instructor in Aspen, that's called fraud. Just because you earned your disability rating doesn't mean you get to keep it. And that is a standard practice for everybody. So what he's saying is they're going to go after the people who are fraudulent. And you know what? Good. Because I'm going to explain to you, with Leeroy listening, all the fraud in the VA, because I've done this before. Leeroy, do you want to add on that?
No, I completely agree. The VA, your disability rating is one of those really, like, I don't like my rating. I don't like getting the amount that I get, even though, like, there are days where I work or people will see me laying down on the floor and just say, "Oh my God, are you all right?" And I'm like, near tears, trying to get my back to get in alignment, and they're like, "Why are you still working?" You know, and I don't have any problem with that. Like, it just seems like a normal thing for me. I say that because there is plenty of the other side of that coin, right? Where you've heard of people who get 100% disability, and to Matt's point, maybe they have a job as a lumberjack or something, and you're like, wait, there's no way. How is it even possible, right? And it can happen, right? So we have to be, there's a line in there that has to be found to say, hey, look, if you're truly scamming the system, you're a shitbag, right? And there are shitbags out there.
And just because you're a veteran doesn't mean you're not a shitbag. Sorry, I know plenty of them. And
exactly.
And I don't care if you're a shopkeeper. I don't care if you're an IS. I don't care if you're a freaking operator on the teams. There are shitbags in every division, every unit, every squadron, every battalion, every squad. That's just the way it is. We found one here, by the way. By the way, this guy is also pumped up by Ojeda. Huh? I'm talking about you.
You said you had someone there?
Wait, what?
You said you had someone. You mean this guy? Got it. Sorry.
Yeah, this douchebag. This guy, remember, Robert Ojeda or whatever his name is, and you don't like him either. He's the military guy that just fucking hates Trump, and he Yeah, he's Robert. He's the one. He's the one who supported this video. It may not be Robert. I'll find out his name. Anyway, just listen to the rest.
I know who you're talking about.
They want to end TDIU payments. TDIU means temporarily disabled individual unemployability, on which I fall into.
That's why it's called temporary, jackass. So, that's it. It's called temporary. If you have not properly filed, if you have not been seen, then temporary means that it will expire. That's the way it works. This is nothing category. New.
My regular disability is 90%, but they pay me at 100% because of the TDIU, which means my thoughts are disjointed. I don't play well with others. I don't work well in a work setting because I'm liable to go the fuck off. All right?
Ooh, that sounds like
that goes along with my high blood pressure, my hypertension, my tinnitus, my PTSD,
Are those all service connected, buddy? Are those service connected disabilities? Because I would love to see that you were in the military with high blood pressure. I would love to see it in the military how your tinnitus. I'd love to see how they do that.
Yeah, I know exactly how the VA does that. If you can get like one service related item that is the cause for the others, right? Let's say somebody gets a back injury. Okay. Next thing you know, you can't run because I fall in that camp. And next thing you know, I get obesity. Because I get obese, next thing you know, I have the CPAP thing, right? Well, the CPAP is like 50% disability, like right there. I don't know that that's true, but you get my point. You get my point. Is that like one thing leads on to another? So that's probably how he ended up with high blood pressure, like getting paid to have high blood pressure, is because service-related connections and just deterioration of his own health.
Right, but high blood pressure is not a reason for TDIU.
No.
So that's my point. Is this service connected? So tinnitus, yes. Tinnitus is not a life sentence. Either is PTS. So there are certain things that you may have a temporary disability charge for, but it doesn't necessarily stay on your jacket forever, because hence the word temporary. Now, if you lose a limb, that is a full service disability, and it doesn't need to be re-rated ever, because it is a permanent service-connected disability. If you take 3 rounds in the chest and have to have a pacemaker put in, and you have to have one of your artificial lung put in, and you have to go ahead and have a sleep apnea machine, you're not going to be devalued for that, and that is a permanent disability. So when you're talking about, dude, how long have you been out of Vietnam? I'm pretty sure, I don't know, call it a hunch, but I think it's probably at least for 55 years, maybe 51. And if that's the case, do you still believe that these temporary disabilities need to be permanent? Well, then you need to go show that service connection disability to the VA and prove that with your service jacket to your VA board, and it will be taken care of. But if you cannot, those will expire. Jeez Louise.
Well, I have to go to the VA to get re-rated every now and then. You don't just get a rating and then you hold on to it for the rest of your life. Like they send me to,
well, that's my point,
to physical therapy. They've offered surgeries. They do whatever they can to get you off of that system, right? Because they don't want to give you these benefits.
No,
for
folks,
life.
I couldn't walk when I got out.
Yeah, so they do everything they can to get you back up to healthy, right? So you can get out of that system.
I had 13 surgeries, folks. I had over $750,000 worth of surgeries. I was horribly broken, and I don't deserve a 100% disability rating anymore. Man, I'm squatting 375. I'm benching freaking 245 to 265. There's no fucking way I need disability. I run 3 miles every single day. I could knock out 150 push-ups. I can knock out 200 sit-ups. I can do my 20 pull-ups barely. I'm a big dude. I don't need disability. Leeroy's going to be coming over here. He'll see my workout routine. And if I'm sitting here and go, hey, man, I'm 100% disabled, you know what he's going to say to me? Dude, you're milking the fucking system. Are you kidding me?
That's right. That's exactly right.
TBIs. There's a difference between a TBI. There's a difference between exposure. There's a difference cases of TDS. Excuse me, TDS. Geez, PTS. There's different levels. My point is it service connected? And has it been verified? If it has, then great. But if it's temporary and you've been out for 51 years, sounds like you've got an issue with the review board.
As a result of my exposure to Agent Orange. They also want to tax VA disability payments. It will cripple thousands of veterans.
Okay,
Everybody talks about how.
Now, this is where I fucking come in, okay? So, this guy is an absolute fucking liar. And I hope he sees my video. Because, dude, I'm not only saying stolen fucking valor, maybe not. Maybe you are a specialist. Maybe you have the NAM service medal. Maybe you've actually done the things you say. But when you say that Donald Trump wants to tax severance and VA benefits, what you're going off of is Project 2025, you lying douche plow. Because let me tell you a little story. In 2017, with Donald Trump, I received a check from my severance in 1999, where my entire severance was about $5,400. That was my severance. And it was medical severance. And it was not supposed to be taxed. It was against the law to be taxed. But a loophole that was put in by Bill Clinton reneged on that, and he taxed VA severance and VA monthly payments. In 2017, as we were sitting in Houston, Texas, we received a notification with a seal of the President of the United States. That letter stated the following: you, Matthew Spear, served from date to date with rank of IS-2 in the United States Navy, received a severance from the U.S. government for this amount, for $5,462 some odd dollars. You were taxed roughly 40 some odd %, leaving you with $2,700, $3,200, whatever it is. You will be receiving a reimbursement check because of Donald Trump, going back from records from like 1977 and beyond, with all disabled veterans that were illegally taxed, will be receiving it back not only in full value, but with standard interest rates of like 2.1%, along with compounded interest rates based on if you put that into an IRA or a savings account or a bond. My wife and I received a full check, over $7,000 from Donald Trump and the United States government refunding me that severance tax. I didn't ask for it. We didn't know it was coming. We had no idea. We took a photocopy of the check. I framed it. If I ever meet him, I'm going to have him sign it and thank him personally. So when you sit here and tell me that all of a sudden he's going to renege on that and decide to bend over every single vet, you are a fucking liar.
Yeah, there's no way. And I just did a quick ancillary search for that, right? Hey, are my benefits soon to be taxed? And there is something off of military.com that was published on February what was the date on this? February 25th, 2025. And you know what they're saying? The exact opposite. That no, nothing is being taxed in excess, or nothing is being taxed in terms of your benefits. What they're talking about is, hey, we're looking at the potential for some veterans who are collecting at a rate lower than 30% and dropping disability compensation waivers whose health conditions aren't directly related to military duty. That's what they're talking about. I mean, that's what the VA is for.
I don't know what to tell you.
He sounds like somebody who is just milking the system, which is plainly obvious from his amazing fashion choices.
And not just his fashion choices, but his list of issues that he's had in his 4-year times as a specialist. That is, if he served a full 4, versus a specialist ranked in a 2 to 3 year service, which is also possible. is also possible in Vietnam. If he was injured, he could have been in, went to Vietnam, got injured, got out. We don't know. I don't have a service record. Jeffrey Oliphant just donated $51.99, says, keep up the good work, sir. Because of your donation, we promise we will continue. We're at 118.26 of 30. Also, fuck Nguyen, my good friend, who I haven't heard from a while. A lot of my good friends are coming out of the woodwork. It's wonderful to see Larry Hatfield's in here tonight again. I haven't seen Larry in a while. Tyler Smith, I haven't seen him in a minute. And then my good buddy Josh, who is kind of my spiritual guide on, is back. Josh Morris, he's in here tonight. So good to see some old dummies returning. We've got a shite ton of people on, and it's wonderful to see you guys. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, this is a great show so far.
Yeah, so we're not done. We're still going to finish up this guy's video. Sorry about the cussing, but I really can't stand people like this who scare veterans. It's not okay with me. It frustrates me. Here is the rest of the video, and we'll probably have a few things to say about this as soon as I can open it. Where did it go? Oh, where is it? All right, there it is. Here's the rest of his bullshit.
How much they are veterans, you better get ready to stand up for them. Number 4, they want to end compensation for any veteran that is 10 or 20%. In other words, if you get 10% for tinnitus, which is a ringing in your ear, which I have because of my duty with an artillery unit, I have that. They want to get rid of that. Before, it was the 20% for diabetes. They want to get rid of that. In other words, if you go to war and come back less than 20%, it's on you. You suffer. And the last one.
No,
not true.
Let me explain
None
why.
of that is true.
You do it. You explain why.
None of that is true. Well, I mean, I just read it off. Again, on the military.com article that was just published February 25th, 2025, that they're looking at the report also proposed cutting disability compensation to veterans with ratings lower than 30% and dropping disability compensation for veterans whose health conditions aren't directly related to military duty. So maybe to your point, if you have diabetes, right? Is that because the Navy milk? No, it's not. But there's nobody that's going to drop your compensation because of tinnitus. That's not going to happen. What they're talking about is they're trying to find the people like you that are scamming the system and have somehow claimed, way more than you should. That's what they're trying to do. I'm frustrated now.
So this guy's wearing a 2nd Division Field Force Army patch. I would like to see if he was field artillery. Tinnitus is possible. The question that I always have is that there were a lot of provisions made in Vietnam for proper ear and sound protection, especially for artillery. We learned that in World War II, and we learned it in Korea, and lost a lot of hearing issues because of artillery guys. Something to check. But I'm interested to hear it. But here's the rest. That claim might be true as far as him having tinnitus, which is possible. A lot do. Anybody who's put rounds down range knows that the ear protection isn't the greatest in the U.S. military, especially when we were in. I mean, they had two wax roll stoppers and a pair of minus 86 dB headsets, but that doesn't necessarily protect you from the armaments that we were firing. But here's the rest.
When they test that now, it's interesting. I did not realize that was something that was testable. I thought it was subjective.
Yep.
And turns out, no, they can test for that. And I found that to be really fascinating.
Yep. Here's the rest.
They want to reduce disability compensation by 30% once a vet hits retirement age. In other words, when you get old, fuck you. We're going to take money away from you. Instead of trying to give you more. So this is unacceptable. Those of you who follow me, please, I want to see this video go viral. Spread it to anybody and everybody in your group and ask them to do the same. Veterans, once you see this, contact me. Let me know how we can go against this, because you have made your commitment. You did your job. You put your life on the line when others won't. And because of that DD-214, you are among an elite force of individuals. Do not let anybody treat you less than. All right? So, folks, make this video go viral, please.
So I make more money and could afford more Tommy Hilfiger and Ralph Lauren and Tommy Bahama shirts. By the way, Ronnie Ford, $5.
His Porsche over to Macy's right now.
Yeah. Ronnie Ford, $5. Veterans giving money that they don't necessarily have. That means the world to me. Ronnie, thank you so much. Listen, I don't know this guy. I didn't serve with him. I don't know anything about him. I'm sure he served in Vietnam. I'm sure he was a specialist. I'm sure he did. He was one and done. And I'm sure all the ailments that he has are legitimate. But let me explain to you about the 10 and 20 percenters. Most of those guys don't need that 10 or 20%. I'm just letting you know. 10 percenters is a standard medical process. Everybody gets 10. Everybody. It's standard. You're not medical SEP without a 10. So it's where they start. Used to be everyone got 20. So what they need to do is they need to go back and look at the 10s and 20s so they can make sure they help the 80s and 100s. And I'm fine with that. That's why I give mine back. I don't need my disability check. I got my VA home loan. I've used it 5 fucking times. I've got my USAA. I've got my bank accounts. I have my military ID card. I get my little discounts at the movie theater and when I go get my fishing license. All of these things are true. I'm going to get my discount doing the photo shoot we're going to do next week. But that's it. I will not take money from people that are 180 so I can get my 10. I'm sorry. And this guy, you're at 90%. And it sounds like you're really pissed off about losing your 10%. Well, buddy, tough fucking luck. Go whittle some freaking birchwood into a rolling duck and sell it at the fair or something. Get a side hustle. But if you don't want to sit down and feel sorry for yourself and just sit down and be a waste of a life like you described, then go fucking get a job. Sorry that your disposition is that you're such a fucking asshole that nobody wants to work with you. Maybe that should explain to you that you need to actually take advantage of the VA counseling and find a way to heal. Because if you're still carrying this shit around for 52 fucking years, you're not putting the work in, homeboy. Because I've worked with over 3,000 vets from stopping to put guns in their fucking mouth. And let me tell you, when they do the work, they get better. Maybe it's time for you to do the fucking work. So there, Bubba, send it to this fucking guy. Tell him he wants to come on my show. I'll fuck him. I'll beat the shit out of him verbally on live. I can give a bad name to vets, dude. Fucking specialist, dude. You're one and done. Give me a break. There's guys out there that lost both legs too. You sound like you sound like a Section 13 or a fucking somebody who fucking got out because you shot yourself in your own foot. That's what you sound like. Sorry, fuck this guy.
Tell me how you really feel.
Fuck him. Fucking God. You know what, dude? Listen, you were in Vietnam. I get it. That's enough respect. Nobody's going to take your benefits. And if they are, we'll stand shoulder to shoulder with you, brother. But this isn't the way you do it. Let's make sure this goes viral. Let's make sure. But Richard Ojeda, of course he posts it. Because anything that's going to lie and say shit about Trump.
He hate it, all right.
I hate this guy. This guy right here. He is.
Yeah.
Dude, you are.
I remember him. I fucking followed him. I posted something to his page when he was lipping off about something, and after I commented, he and I got into an exchange and whittled it down in the argument, and then he fucking blocked me after I smeared his ass.
I remember this guy. Yep, he blocked me too. Yeah, he was. I think
he's like a major or something like that, right?
Yeah, and he still has his high and tight, and he was a sapper. He's Army, and he's just G.I. Joe, dude. He's Army, bro. It's just he's the type of guy that still calls people pogue. He's like, you're a fucking pogue. Okay, infantry guy. I'm sorry my ASVAB was too high. Sorry my ASVAB score was too high, big guy. I didn't want to be a bullet stopper. Sorry. I actually wanted to have a skill when I got out. And look at me now, apply it as a podcaster. Holy crap. Have I just gone up? Folks, we'll be right back.
Join WimKen.com, the social media platform built for free speech and truth.
You know what? I didn't even do it right. Is everything okay? Hello? Okay. So let me just explain to you about the VA. I've done this before, but I'm just going to read this real quick. You ready, Leeroy? We're going to fire some stuff off, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Your phone is now interrupting with your, like, do you see how you are, like, look like you're dissolving? God,
I'm
dude, just keep the shit
It's
away
E5
from this.
season. I got to do the E5 evals. I keep getting texts from my senior.
That's fine. Tell your senior to suck it. Tell him you're live and you're busy. Don't do that. 2015 to 2000. I'm going to give you a 10-year run on the VA. In 2015, what do you think their budget was? Give me a guess. We got to go quick, dude. So just spit it out.
120 billion.
163 billion. Then it went up to 169 billion. Then it went. I'll be right there, honey. Honey, hi, I love you. 180 billion in 17, 186 billion, 199 billion, 220 billion, 243 billion, 263 billion, 301 billion, 339 billion, 369 billion. By 2035, it's on pace to be $1 trillion. It'll be $300 billion more than our defense budget, the VA.
That's crazy.
Staffing levels starting from 15, 350,000, 365, 377, 385, 390, 412, 420, 430, 450, 460, 470. By this time, you've got almost 500,000 people. It'll be over 1 million people working for it by 2035. It'll be single-handedly 17 times larger than the FBI.
There's no reason for that.
Wait, let me finish. I know. COVID-19, they expanded it. They got a $72 billion bump during COVID. But here's the problem. Veterans have gone down. Korea and Vietnam were much more impactful wars than Iraq and Afghanistan. Although they were horrible, the contrition and the damages that took place in Vietnam, Korea, we know about the Gulf War syndrome. I understand about that. We understand about JP5, JP7 burns and burn pits. Yes. Tinnitus, PTS, severed limbs, IEDs. Yes, we know. But Vietnam and Korea, I mean, you pretty much went in there. It was like literally 3 out of 4 came back with a debilitating injury. I mean, that's the type of shit we're talking about, mentally or physically. But unfortunately, those people, we've lost them. 22 a day. The VA is a complete bureaucracy. There is so much waste and fraud because they're overworked and overstaffed because of the amount of mundane, old, antiquated systems that are there. They still run on Squirrel, dude. Squirrel was used at fucking Applebee's when I was 17.
I was listening to the radio. Literally, this was this morning, and they were talking about how the Air Force was asking for some money in fusion, and apparently it was to update some of the missile silos, right? And when they asked, like, all right, well, what do you mean? Where are you coming from? So do you remember that movie War Games? Like all of the really old, like giant relays.
Turn the key, sir.
Turn the key, sir. Yeah. That whole thing. Apparently, they still use that exact same technology.
They do.
I like
it's all Mars. It's Mars systems.
They refuse to update. They just absolutely dig their heels in on buying any sort of upgrades. I'm sure that somewhere in my building there is still somebody with one of those fluorescent amber displays somewhere doing something. Okay. I don't know what, but
I know Mel wants to call in, but I can't because I'm in C block and I have 20 minutes. So let me get through this section and then we'll see what I can do. I love Mel. We're also down on donations too, so we got to keep it moving. So give me a few minutes and I'll see if I can get her on. But we have beat this topic to death, and I gotta move. I gotta move. So Mel, I love you. I know you want to call in. My North Dakota. All right, Mel, just call in. Fuck it. See, she knew. She doesn't need to let me talk through it. Just call in for the love of God. Hurry up.
Wait,
804-212-2208. Yee. And if it's not working, then there's something wrong. So I'm gonna finish playing this. Here we go.
Join WimKen.com, the social media platform built for free speech and true connection. No censorship, no algorithms controlling your feed, just genuine conversations and a commitment to protecting your rights. Sign up today at webkin.com and take back your voice. Tell them Matt and the Dumb Show sent you.
Mel, we love you. You are a huge part of the show. If we weren't so behind, I'd totally be down. But we're getting our butts kicked. It's really hard with these donations too. I'm trying to keep track of everything, and I think I got everybody. I don't even know. Here's the first 23 black congressmen. A lot of people don't know this part of history. I mean, because I always love when the Democrats say we're racist and all this shit, but it always intrigues me. But if I showed you,
they were all Republican, right?
Yep, they were. Thanks for spoiling the whole thing, dude. Way to let me set it up. No, thanks, buddy. History that is never taught. The first 23 black congressmen were all Republicans. This is a fact check that's been going around. Allergies. It's a fact check that's been going around. People are saying it's a lie. Bubba, I don't know, man. I'm trying to get to you, Bubba. I'm trying to get to Mel. I want to get you on the phone, but I'm getting my butt kicked. I'm getting behind. I got 17 minutes to finish up the show. I don't know if we can do a phone call tonight. It comes down to this. I will skip this segment so we can try to power through. This is, the left is saying this is a lie, that the party switched and the party flipped. Okay, look at me when I tell you this. When you hear somebody say that the party switched or the party flipped, they are blatantly lying to you. There is no such thing as a party switch. It didn't happen. And if you don't believe me, go look at 1923 to 1946 and how many times Republicans won, and I will tell you, it wasn't at all. FDR stayed for 4 years in office. He died in office. Republicans' ideas were all about handouts and welfare and being nanny states. We did that shit before the liberals, and we realized that it was a complete loss. We jumped off that ship and we went into conservative family values. We were always the anti-federalists. We are always small government. We are the party of Lincoln. And 23 black congressmen were all Republicans. And the first were all Republicans. So when anybody tells you it's a lie, it's not. I'll even send you the fact check. What's hilarious is Newsweek, one of the most liberal places in the world. Thank you for blessing me. Mel, we love you. If you want to call in, we'll try to get you in here in a minute. And you too, Bubba. I'm doing the best that I can. So I was going to spend a lot more time on that, which sucks that I can't. Leeroy, any thoughts on that, or do we want to cut bait and move?
Just one quick, something that I've notated before, especially when we're talking about, like, you know, did the parties ever really switch sides? And if so, when did it happen? I've always asked, like, really detailed questions on that front, and nobody seems to know when or how it happened. Turns out it was one guy who changed sides back in like 1963, whatever the case was. And then when you go and look up the after effects of that, so Ballotpedia actually has a real nice piece on this where they talk about how many state legislatures have switched sides, right? As of March 2025, there have been 189 state legislatures who have switched sides since 1994. Does that mean that the parties have switched sides then 189 times?
Right.
Right? I mean, because that's the argument that you're making.
Hey, Leeroy, how long did it take for the South to vote for a Republican president?
About 40 years. I don't think it was 40.
It was 20. It was 20. It was 20. And it took a
while.
The
worst tragedy ever, right?
Well, and now they say there wasn't a party switch. It was generational change. Shut the fuck up. You guys have always been the party of racism. You've always been the party of big government. You have always been the party of welfare. Shut up. You guys used to be the party of civil rights. You used to be the party of free speech. You used to be the party of anti-war. You're none of those things. You have went back to home. Once you realized that the Daughters of the Confederacy weren't going to be able to resell the Civil War, you went to enslaving black people through financial means and putting them in poverty. Everybody knows it. This is what you do. Black people are waking up. Fuck liberals. Sorry.
That's all I had.
Okay, good. Let's watch this. Police. Folks, it's we're past 8:30. We are at 123.26 out of 300. We had an amazing night for Olivia's birthday. I get it. I understand. If this is the first night we don't hit it, I completely understand. But we're at 123.26. You can go to thedumbshow.com and donate. Dumbshow.com and /donate. Excuse me, hiccup. And the reason why I'm dying from allergies. The reason why we do that is because we were demonetized by Facebook. And although we have 233,563 followers, which we've gained 33,563 since January, which is absolutely effing incredible, we still only have 72 people on live. This show is too damn good to have that, because I know that because we've got 100 people on Twitter, we've got a shit ton on Rumble and Wimkin, and YouTube and Facebook. The corporate social medias have been throttling us for years. We could use some help. New York cops are done, and it's great to see, because New York cops used to be the staple with stop and frisk, and now they're starting to, God darn it.
Oh, man. Don't do that.
I'm dying. I'm dying tonight. I'm so tired. Cops are starting to say no more to these Hamas and anti-Jews, Jewish protesters. Here's what the New York cops are doing.
Move back! Move back! Let's get back! Move back!
Yeah, FDR served 12 and he was going into his 4th when he died. So it was 4 terms. Fact check me, Joseph.
Stay back! Stay back! All of a sudden, move on! Move on! Move back! Get out of the corridor!
So it's 95948. Sorry.
God, I love always being right. I mean, it's so hard. Franklin Delano Roosevelt served 4 terms as president of the United States from 1933 to 1945. He's the only U.S. president to have served more than 2 terms. His presidency led to the 22nd Amendment, which now limits presidents to 2 terms. Yes! 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 In your face! In your face! In your face! Dude, these Guns N' Roses concerts just turned into complete dog shit. What, don't we have some
diver?
Do we have some napalm or something? We can just make these people's dreams come true. If you want to die for Allah, listen, there's nothing wrong with protest. I completely agree with peaceful protest, but I am so tired of this shit. That isn't protest.
Peaceful though.
You want you want to annihilate and kill a group of people. The entire premise of your movement isn't peaceful. Hamas is a terrorist organization. Gaza is run by Hamas. It's different than Afghanistan, where most of the people were resistant to the Taliban. Everybody embraces Hamas in Gaza. Why do you think none of them have been willingly turned over? Come on, people. I can't do this anymore. Leeroy, make some sense out of this, please.
I'll say this, that if you live in Dearborn, Michigan, or if you live in New York and you know that you've got a strong Muslim community and you see this kind of thing happening, you collectively, right, should be a little more vocal in taming down the rhetoric, in taming down and I don't mean from the libertarian side of things, right? I'm saying that when you see a bunch of people in kafiyas and nijabs and everything just, spouting, Sharia law, you need to kind of speak up and say, no, go fuck yourselves. This is
Kafaya.
not how we roll here. Get the fuck out if you so desire, but you're not going to change our liberties into an authoritarian state. It's not going to happen.
Kafaya.
Kafaya, whatever.
It's
potato.
It's
mass explosion. Who cares?
You're right. Fuck it. Forget it. You're right. Want to say thank you to Paul Rivera, who says, "Come on, dummies. You're raising Matt's blood pressure. Lots of laugh just for you, Matt. Thanks, buddy." Bobby comes just because Matt said please. LOL. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you too for helping us out. 222.24, a much more feasible goal of $75 to hit for us to hit it. Listen, once again, I don't care about protests. I think it's what makes America America. But you interrupting colleges, I noticed how you guys took the summer off. You're okay with all the death and destruction in the summer? Or were you just, fiddling with your boyfriend in the back seat or girlfriend? I don't judge. And weren't concerned about all the Muslims dying in Gaza. It comes down to this. The people inside the United States are not responsible for what's going on in the Middle East. We are running a proxy. And we have proxied Israel since 1952. It's not going to stop. You are not going to be able to eradicate the Israeli state. You're just not going to be able to. I know you want to, but we're not going to let you have nukes, and you're never going to be able to eradicate the Jews. So stop fucking with them. Leave them alone. Because I'll be honest with you, Netanyahu is a little bit fucking insane. This is genocide. But you know what? So was the Gulf. I'm sorry. So was World War II. We annihilated Germans too. We liquefied Germans with the English. We nuked fucking and flash boiled 372,000 people with a thermonuclear device.
To say nothing of the fire raids.
Right. So folks, not including the freaking burial mounds of Native Americans, okay? War is hell, and it sucks, and there are no rules. You might think the Geneva Convention is all okay, that's cute and all, and that's nice for officers, but when the NCOs have a choice to go ahead and put down a village that is constantly raiding and constantly laying IEDs, and you can't show 100% that they're enemy combatants, but you know all this shit is deriving from these locations, and you accidentally call in a strike to wipe out the 90% that are terrorists and are evil, and you happen to kill 10% that are good people, shit happens. I'm sorry.
Something that I was thinking about while you were talking right there. In most of the Muslim countries, some of the big five themes just seem like they happen in almost every authoritarian society. And whether or not that looks like state control, or if it's centralized power, or some level of collectivism, right? Or just basically the opposition to liberalism. And I mean social liberalism, not fiscal.
Right.
Or the use of propaganda. Like these are all tools that every authoritarian society has used, especially in Islamic countries. Like this notion that, women are somehow inferior, and that's why we have to cover them up and not let them drive or let them learn how to write. I mean, is that what you really, because that's authoritarianism. And the only way to achieve said authoritarianism is to have a much, much bigger government, which is why every one of those groups vote Democrat.
Can we not allow them to drive, though, seriously? Just for my own sanity.
Well, don't tell me that. Olivia said she was going to pick me up.
Well, I told her, I said, listen, he's coming in at like noon. He can walk his ass here. That's going to be good for you, man. Get a little bit of PT in. No, I'm not going to make you do that. No, Amy and I are going to come get you. Olivia's working that day. So Amy and I are going to come get you. We're going to go do lunch, and then you can come back here. We'd love for you to stay the night.
So I can tell you two apart because,
Yeah. Amy has huge tits. That's you're going to be able to figure it out.
First thing I look at. So.
Amy, well, you're not going to have a choice with Amy. I'm just letting you know, buddy. Those things kind of poke you in the eye. Amy Stancombe, $2. I want my $2. Thank you, Amy. People who can't give, who do. Thank you. Frank Riley, $28.84 to help you recover from all that birthday sex. Dude, it was good.
Epic.
It was good. It was pretty amazing. I'm not going to lie. To daylight savings time or to not daylight savings time? That is the question. Now, I know this is a long debate, and a lot of people are up in arms over this, but Mr. Donald Trump is asking the question, and people say, who cares? We have too many other things to worry about. You know what? We can take a few seconds and get this thing solved. I am sick to death.
This is one of those toilet paper under or over kind of debates, right? We can do this.
There's no debate. There is no debate. It's over. Because under and its own weight rips the sheet, and you get a single sheet. There's a patent, and it's over. The patent says over. There is no debate. Matt, how did you and Leeroy meet? Oh, this Chef Lady. This is a cute story. One time I was moving into a San Francisco Navy bar on the pier.
Band camp.
And I was wearing my tighty whities, and I walked in and I saw Leeroy sitting on a bar from about 4 chairs away, and I just said, "Hey, sailor, you looking for a good time?" That was it. And it's right. We had 2 blowjobs and a screwdriver, and then we decided to start drinking.
Right there on the bar.
Right there on those bars.
Everyone's looking at it. It's like, what are you doing? I'm like,
bartender's
what are you talking about? That's what the ears are for.
Bartender's like, "Can I have a tip?" And we're like, "You didn't have to ask me twice." So I don't have any cash on me though. So I was doing a show, and you know what? I don't even fucking know. All I know is he showed up and he came on the show, and I was desperate for a host, and here he is. I don't know what happened. What happened?
No, I remember stalking you for a few days, right? And I was really enjoying the content, truly. And just by happen chance, one time you had let it out. You kind of let out part of your resume and had mentioned the Navy IS thing. And I was like, what? And so then I started listening more. And as you started talking about some of the places where you had been in schools and so forth, I realized, oh my God, we have a very similar history. So I went ahead and reached out to Matt. And at one point he was wearing a grunt style Navy shirt. And I remember emailing him and saying, "Hey, where the hell did you get that?" And I was like, "Because I wanted it." And to my shock, I got a response back, right? Because you don't expect that sometimes. And
I hear that a lot. People are like, "Holy shit, dude! Like, I never expected you to reach back out to me." It's kind of cool.
And I think shortly thereafter, there was something going on TV where you were hot about something. And I remember texting in something to the tune of, "Hey, try not to react. Try and think. Like, just kind of figure out your center." Right. And at that point, he looked into the camera, almost like he was looking at me. And he was like, "I think I got this." And then from that moment on, it was always, yeah.
But I still get hot. I still react. But you know, Leeroy's rounded me out. I mean, we bumped heads. We bump heads once in a while, but it's never. He's always affable, and it's like the thing is this is like Amy and I had like a 30-minute talk last night, and she was giving me advice on Olivia over something because Olivia was a little grumpy, menopause, birthday, and all that, and I. And Leeroy's given me advice on the show and given me advice on life, and we just became friends. And it's like. I'm not a people person, but I genuinely love Amy and Leeroy, and I can't wait to fucking see him. Like, it's not even meeting him for the first. I don't even feel that way. I literally feel like I'm meeting an old Navy buddy of mine because we just have that shorthand. We've always had it. Our moms are exactly alike. We have the same amount of siblings. We have the same amount of trepidation and fear. We've chewed some of the same dirt. We've worked with the same people. And I ran a background on him. Of course I fucking did. I wasn't going to let him in my network without knowing that he was full of shit or not full of shit. And
well, it turns out I was far more trusting. I didn't run one on you. So
well, why would you? Why would you? I mean, look at this. Look at this specimen in front of me. It's like, why would I lie? So, no,
profile on Tinder.
You know, I don't need one. You know when somebody's lying in the military. You just know. It's always the guy. It's like, yeah, man, you know, John J. Rambo. Yeah. Well, I was a training coordinator for the First Blood. I was there, man, and ding dang, and I had a pancake, ding dang, flip flop on Jip Jab.
I was there up to my knees in rice paddies with guns.
So anyway, daylight savings time. Here it is. Let's get to it. I mean, we're totally off the rails.
Yes.
Sunday. When are you going to get rid of daylight savings?
Okay, are you ready? So, this should be the easiest one of all, but it's a 50-50 issue. And if something's a 50-50 issue, it's hard to get excited about it. I assume people would like to have more light later, but some people want to have more light earlier because they don't want to take their kids to school in the dark. And it's a little bit one way, but it's very much a 50-50 issue. And it's something I can do, but a lot of people like it one way, a lot of people like it the other way. It's very even. And usually I find when that's the case, what else do we have to do?
And I got it Sunday. How about we go forward a half hour and call it good? Or how about we go back a half hour and call it good? Why don't we split the middle? Split the difference. Does it really matter? Give us an extra half hour of light or a half hour of darkness, and then we don't have to do this shit anymore. Just make a fucking decision. I am so sick of this crap. Oh, but man, it'll throw up the Gregorian calendar. I don't care. Just keep me in the dark like everything else. Like if there's an asteroid hurling toward us and it's impending death, I don't want to know. Okay? If ICBMs are going to, say hello to each other in the night, don't tell me. No, ladies and gentlemen, we have 22 minutes before global holocaust. Don't tell me. I don't want to know this. Just change it and lie to me. Lie to me. Just tell me the calendars. I don't care if it's 3 minutes off. I don't care if we lose 3 minutes. Who fucking cares? By the time it makes a difference in my life, I'm going to be dead. Just
how many people
change it?
How many people actually change a clock anyway? Or do you do what everyone else does and just wait for your phone to change?
Oh my God, that's like my Christmas lights.
Nobody pays that close attention to it.
Nobody
I bet
cares.
you the only people that do are the ones that actually have to manually change your clock in the car.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. That's it. Honestly, like the one above my bed, it's going to be perfect this week because I didn't change it from. I don't care. I just plus 1 hour. Listen, we have military time in our lives. We don't give a shit. We don't use standard clocks anyway in our head. We look outside and we can go ahead and 3 fingers to the sun and we can figure out what time it is. We don't need these Swedish confidence tricks. Destroy all watches. My watch hasn't worked in like 3 years. I haven't changed. I don't use this thing. I walk outside. I'm like, it's 1 o'clock. Because I learned how to do that in scout training. It's not hard. Give me a half hour. Plus or minus. I don't care. And just solve it. Ban this thing. It is the dumbest thing. I lived in Arizona. It was the greatest thing in the world. Everyone would change. And I'm like, oh, we're in California. Oh, we're in Colorado. We're in California. We're in Colorado. And the only, I just stupid. Nobody cares.
Dumb. So dumb.
Well, I farm. Well, that's your choice. You made the mistake. Life sucks for everybody sometimes. You know what? You shovel shit and you milk a cow. Sorry. You're going to have to do that in the dark. Sorry. You already do it in the dark. Because if you're a really good farmer, you're up at 4 a.m. anyway. Yeah, but then we need the daylight. Okay, you know what? I don't know what to tell you. Maybe kill your cows, sell them off, do what Joe Biden did, wipe them all out, call it mad cow, bird flu, whatever you want, collect the insurance, retire, and open up a fucking bingo parlor. I don't care, but just stop screwing with the time. I want to be able to walk outside. You want to know why? It is so hard to recover during fall back or spring forward. Like, I am wrong for like 2 weeks. I am a regimented soul. I don't know what to do. I don't know when to go poop. I don't know when to eat. I don't know when to drink. I don't know when to take a nap. And I sit there for 2 weeks like a vegetable, just drool all over myself until I get used to the time change. Enough.
Get used to that 1 hour?
It screws with me, dude.
Oh my God.
It fucks
no,
with me.
You know what does it to me? The time doesn't fuck with me like nearly as much as watching my days just dissolve away during the winter months. Like,
oh really?
I understand that I need sunshine. When I don't get it, I get fucking
see. That's where you and I are different. Okay, so let me ask you a couple questions. Basement or top floor? Who are you? Are you a basement guy or are you a top floor guy?
Top
in
floor.
your house. I mean, see, I'm basement. I like it dark and I like it murky and a little cold. I like it. I like overcast
during the day, so that's why.
That's why I do
we
it.
We already
so
don't have
years.
any windows.
But listen, I'm with you. But I can't stand, like, I like the sun, but I've lived in this hot freaking desert climate for too many years. And now I'm in Virginia. I'm like snow, perpetual snow. I love snow. I love dark weather. I love clouds. I love the bitter, cold, freezing wind. I love seeing the wind come off the freaking Blue Ridge Mountains and just step outside and just get bit. I love that shit. I'm wearing sandals right now, dude. Sandals. I love this stuff.
No. I'm tired of it, and I fucking thank God for global warming. I hope that when it finally has taken over all of winter, that you are just miserable. This miserable.
Oh my God!
I
do like
snow.
I like this. I like the sun. I do. I enjoy it a lot more. And now that we have the dog, like it's been a bitter winter here. Virginia's been cold. And we saw the sun the other day, and Dog and I walked out. She puts a paw out. I put my freaking sandal out, and we're like, oh, it's like 65. And she's just like, let's run around, Raggy. And it was fantastic. All right, the last one you're going to love, folks. We are out of time. We are at 2:53:08. Unfortunately, it looks like we are going to miss our goal. First time. Hey, there's got to be a first time for everything. It's been almost a year. We have hit it every single day, but we're sitting at 2:53:08 out of 300. It's 9:10. And honestly, we're ending with Lichtman because I know how much
Dr.
Leeroy.
We
hate this guy. We hate this guy completely. We are officially in. You know what? We're going to do overtime. We're going to do overtime first, and then we'll do Alan Lichtman just to see possibly. These women are so cringe. All the Democrat women's decided to go ahead and create like a Street Fighter drop-in bounce.
This.
So if you look and you go into Street Fighter, you know, Chung Lee will be doing this.
Right.
And
Jean-Claude Van Loser. Yeah.
You know, they'll do this bouncing, and they made this video game, and oh my God, it's so cringe. This is Solhee Jessica Wu, Bento Box Queen, Mommy of the Century, Sleep Deprived. This is AOC, New York's 14th Congressional District, youngest woman Latina to be elected to the House, Trekkie. Okay, I'm saying it again. AOC's hot. Like she's would be the one that she's gonna be the one I don't tell anyone about, right? I'd be embarrassed and ashamed, but I would totally Elon Musk her.
Oh yeah. If you haven't fantasized about gluing her eyes shut with a
Jesus, Leeroy, that's taking it way too far, man. Come on. I don't even think I'd get past the tramp stamp. Lauren Underwood, youngest black woman elected to Congress. That's important. Co-founded the Black Maternal Office. That's important. Hates balloons. Well, you're a fucking clown, so that's not good. I don't know what you're doing, Catherine Clark, but that's the wrong. You're teabagging your boyfriend. House Minority Whip. Holy shit, she's in the S&M. Massachusetts 5th Congressional District. Weren't they all black in the Buffalo Soldiers? And not into hair dye. Obviously, lady. You look like you're 86 years old.
I was just going to say it looks like if vaginal dryness had was a person.
God. And then Judy didn't even get the assignment. They cut her out. Then Jasmine Crockett, her power is to be a white girl who pretends she's black. Texas 30 Congressional District, public defender and attorney, not a morning person. Lady, you're not an any-day person. Daylight savings time with or without. You are just a horrible, racist bitch. But you do have that down really well. I don't know what you're doing, lady. Susie Lee, Nevada's 3rd Congressional District, president of communities and schools of Nevada.
Roth told her to jump.
She has 2 sprained fingers. Well, you should try 3. 2 in the pink and 1 in the stink. It'll. What the fuck?
Oh yeah.
What is
Paula
on,
Creed
what is
would
on
be
your
proud.
What is on her chest? A Furby? Dude, these Democrats, why don't they sing? You know what? At least we can make fun of them. Here is Lichtman, folks, out of overtime. We are right into it. 253.08, 300 is it. Here is our last video of the night. Robert Lichtman claims Trump's voters are experiencing buyer's remorse. This guy is he's coping with the election so very well. Here he is.
No, he's not.
Lots of Trump voters are reporting buyer's remorse, saying, "We didn't vote for this." Oh, yes, you did. You were repeatedly warned that Trump would follow precisely this course, according to Project 2025.
No, we were warned that he wasn't going to win because you predicted with your 16 steps for success on how to become a multimillionaire who wants to be a millionaire.
Like that lady went to her local grocers and bought the champagne and the kid was like, "Oh, you celebrating?" She's like, "Yeah," after Kamala wins. And he's like, "I don't think she's going to win." She goes, "Excuse me, I am a political analyst. She's going to win."
Yeah, well, these political analysts in the Brady Bunch sequence here, number 1 and 2, predicted the election with like a 99.96 accuracy
to the broader American public. In the latest poll, Trump's approval rating is down to 44%.
Yeah, on one poll, but not on the average. The average, he's at 51%. It's the highest he's ever been.
Which is high.
51% disapproval. That's the worst of any post-war American president, except for Donald Trump in his first term. Wow,
dude, Alan, you are so struggling because you were wrong. Dude, Alan, say it with me. I was wrong. I made a mistake. I should have listened to the Don't Unfriend Me show. We have a better record over the last 3 elections than you do. Nana nana boo boo. Go stick your head in doo doo. Listen, I love Jews, but this is one of them that Hitler missed.
You know, I'll say just Matt.
Well, you're the one who said gluing their eyes shut. That was pretty fucking bad.
Different.
I don't know if it was. Listen, it's all in jest, but all right, maybe I took it too far. But Lichtman needs to get in a fucking car. One of these plane crashes, do us a favor. Just make sure he's on it. Fuck this guy. I can't stand his sanctimonious dick.
No,
he's a crybaby little person. He's a horrible person. Sorry, that was probably a little much. Jesus. He's a dick, dude.
Stop laughing for the next fucking half an hour.
It was funny. I mean, it was funny. It's just, I can't wait for this. I can't. You know what? When they try to cancel me, whenever somebody, they are going to have so much shit to try to use that I just don't care about. No, and I'll be like, it was a joke.
The point.
It was funny.
That's the fucking point. Is that like you can't? Anybody can be uncancelable. You just have to not care.
Yeah, you just have to care. I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You use the N-word. I did. I absolutely did. You said Alan Lichtman, Hitler missed him. I did. And tell me that you don't agree. Like,
right.
Just, it's Alan Lichtman. This guy is one of the most sanctimonious people ever.
This is the guy who made the claim, sold millions on books, right? Got your money on this idea that, I developed a system that predicts the presidency with a 100% accuracy rating. And by the way, Kamala is going to be president. Now that didn't happen, this dude is lying to you again because he is struggling to become relevant again.
I've been right 16 times in a row. No, you weren't. You missed the hanging Chad. You went ahead and made your prediction like 47 days before the election. You were completely wrong. We were right.
We told him why he was going to be wrong too.
Yeah.
You remember
we broke it down for you. Oh, dude, that video, that was amazing. That video.
Yeah. We went through each and every one of his keys to the White House, broke down every one. Matt, it was me, Matt and Amy, and we all
I think
said,
you're
"All
blaming
right,
the
how do you
voters.
feel
I
about
think
this
that's a
key?
ter-
How do you feel
Olivia
about
was
this
there too. It was all four of us.
That's right. We went through the entire thing, and by the time we got to his number of keys to the White House, it had completely flipped over to Trump because he was wrong.
Here's the video. I am begging at this point that we somehow hit goal. Here's the rest.
Terrible idea. Look, I debated Professor Lichtman before. I told him his theories about the keys were absurd. I was right. He was wrong. I said he'd lose his keys.
No, you were
Couldn't
not
find
right,
him
and
before
I
the
was
election.
not wrong, and that's a cheap shot, and I won't stand for it.
Well, who won, brother?
You should not be
Who
taking
won?
cheap
Who
shots
won?
at me.
Who
you
won?
want to make your
You
point,
live
make your
in a
point.
total
Don't make
world
it
of
personal.
denial.
I read your own followers' comments, and they all trashed you, every one of them, and supported me.
Yeah,
so quiet
right,
with
right.
your personal
Yeah,
attacks.
come find out again.
Make whatever
Okay.
point you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't
Look,
make it
you
personal.
don't know anything. You don't know
You
anything.
attacked me
You
personally.
You're so deluded.
Oh, right. I've only
Okay.
been a
Can I
professor
just-
for 51 years.
On this program,
published
I've never been
13
able
books.
to finish a
How many
thought.
books have you published? No, because you're personally
Yeah.
attacking me again.
I'm so shocked that Cenk Uygur didn't pull what I just did and like call him a dirty Jew or something because you know he hates him. He fucking hates him because Cenk's a Turk and he's just like, he's like, I just can't stand you. I hate you, but he doesn't do it.
Cradle up your ass. Yeah, yeah.
right.
Just one of those, you know. Just like
Say whatever you want, but I'm not going to
Okay,
stand
but
for
brother,
personal
you got it
attacks.
wrong.
Say
You were
whatever you want.
preposterously and stupidly wrong. So, okay, all right. Can I just
Don't
finish
call
a
me
goddamn thought
stupid.
ever on this show?
No, not if you're
Okay,
personally.
well,
I
you proved
admitted
it.
I was wrong. I don't need you to call me stupid.
Okay.
I'll just say
What
it's
kind of
great to see
nonsense
you
is that?
Democrats
Yeah, I
all
know.
getting
Who
along
taught
so
you
well.
manners?
It's lovely to
You
see a
need one. Can I
post-election
finish a
harmony as you all
goddamn
come
point?
together
We're
again.
just one right now. Hey, Alan, you deserve a tall glass of shut up juice. So can you just shut up for a second and let someone who knows what
Not
they're doing?
if you're
So
gonna
right,
personally
Pierce.
attack
You're
me.
so right. We're so
Make
unified
any
right
point
now.
you
Okay.
want.
So-
I will not sit here and stand for personal attacks, for blasphemy against me. You don't need to do
Blasphemy?
that.
What are you,
You don't
Jesus?
boost your
Blasphemy
ego
against you?
by
What the hell are
attacking
you?
me
Are you
like that.
Jesus
Just
Christ,
make
you
your points.
loser? Okay, can
Make your
I
points.
just give the correct answer for once?
Harry Sison's mask slips, and I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you something about Harry Sison. He doesn't believe half the shit he says.
tiny little slits right there, you know.
I know, but Sison doesn't believe half the shit he says. He's just really good at trolling. He really is. He's not a dumb kid. This guy knows exactly what he's doing. He knows how to gaslight people, and he's just like Nick Fuentes. He knows how to. He's just like Cenk. And I don't like him. I despise him, but he doesn't believe half the shit he says. And this is why he's laughing, because he finds it incredibly funny like we do. And I'm like all for Cenk Uygur right here. I'm pulling for him. Like, I want Cenk to keep doing this, not get his blood pressure up because he's one fucking Big Mac away from a heart attack. But I want him to destroy Lichtman.
I mean, we all do, right?
I think I heard him say, "Shut up, Jew." It might have been
wasn't
"Shut up,
you.
juice." It might
You
have been
said
"Shut
Jew.
up, juice." I think he did. Let's listen to it again. Let's listen without him
Knows
wording
what
it.
they're
Not
doing.
if you're
So
gonna
right,
personally
Pierce.
attack
You're
me.
so right. We're so
Make
unified
any
right
point
now.
you
Okay.
want.
So-
I will not sit here and stand for personal attacks, for blasphemy against me. You don't need to do that. You don't boost your
Blasphemy
ego
against you?
by
What the hell are
attacking
you?
me
Are you
like that.
Jesus
Just
Christ,
make
you
your points.
loser? Okay, can I just give the correct answer for once?
I
You proved
admitted
it.
I was wrong. I don't need you to call me
Hold on.
stupid.
Okay.
I'll just say
What
it's
kind
great
of
to see
nonsense
you
is that?
Democrats
Yeah, I
all
know.
getting
Who
along
taught
so
you
well.
manners?
Okay, all right. Can I just
Don't
finish a
call me
goddamn thought
stupid.
ever on this show?
Whatever you want.
Preposterously and wrong.
Whatever you want, but personally
Yeah.
attack. Been an
On this program, I've never been
right. I've only
Okay.
been a
Can I
professor
just-
for 51 years.
On this
Where
program,
was it?
I've never been
13
able
books.
to finish a
How
thought.
many books have you published? No, because you're personally
Yeah.
attacking me again. Comments, and they all
Total
don't make it
world of
personal.
denial.
I read your own.
Fuck it. I don't have any time for this. Leeroy, get your minute and get out of here. By the way, Mel sent in $51.99. We headed at 30307. Oh, God. Now everybody's sending money in. Hold on. This is what it feels like. Hold on. Leeroy, take your minute and I will address.
Well, we've hashed
rest.
over a lot of stuff tonight, right? And a lot of these were kind of high level overview, but we went over what inflation, the causes of it really are. We went over Epstein and how that document got redacted. The VA, you're not losing your benefits. There might be, looking to scale back some of the personnel at the VA. God knows they absolutely should. We went over the first 23 black congressmen who were all Republican. So we had a really, really good show. It was a fun night. Got in a few laughs, which I like. I love it when Matt and I are able to get into that mode of just like poking the bear a little bit.
It's fun just having fun. It's fun having a good night and saying some shit and talking some trash and being guys. Come on. And nothing, nobody's hurt. No Jewish people were harmed in the making of this. No black people, no white people. Everyone was made fun of equally, even Mormons tonight. Did we make fun of Mormons? Fuck Mormons.
I don't know if we made fun of Mormons. You know what? I'm going to get you a shirt that says like I would bang AOC or something like that. And
dude, you don't need to get me a shirt. I have it tattooed on my ass, just hoping we meet. Here, I'm gonna
show your ass right out of the gate. We got to show up in DC with these things.
No, I'm all about making full commitment. Here, we didn't make fun of Mormons. Here, there it is.
Oh, Marie and Donnie.
Yeah, she was smoking.
Look at that hair helmet.
She still is a smoke show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Back then, she was probably rocking a full-on hair diaper, though.
You think so?
Yeah. Oh, this is the 70s, man.
Yeah.
Black and Decker couldn't get to that.
Just fucking a spelunker helmet and a pickaxe. Oh, I can't wait for you to be here.
Tune in, folks.
We're going to have to get some whiskey. All right, everybody. Hey, listen, we love you guys. We appreciate you. Tomorrow, Friday night, Red Friday. Wear your red. Olivia, Amy won't be here. Olivia and I will be here. It's going to be a great night. And then we are on the countdown to our photo shoot. Next Friday, we'll have a big night. And then we're going to have to work to figure out, I don't know if you heard this, bud, but one of our viewers, a good friend of the show, wants to do a donation rally for us and have as biggest donations that we can possibly get. So
Really?
like everybody give their biggest donation, and whatever we collect that night, he's going to match it up to $10,000. So if we raise 10, he's going to give us 20.
Wow.
So we're going to have a big night, and I don't know if it's going to be like a marathon or something, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to do something fun, and maybe we can do in conjunction with something else and raise some money. But this is going to be great. We'll all talk about it when you're here. But I don't want to do names and stuff, but it already came on and talked to us, and we're excited. We're going to make a phone call. All of us will sit down. We'll come up with an idea of what to do and how to do it. And we're going to do a huge fundraiser. And basically he wants it to fund whatever our next business venture would be, whether it be getting a location for us to be at or hiring or bringing in some paid guests to fly out and do a show, whatever it would be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
All right. Red Friday. Thanks for being on, Leeroy. We love you guys. Appreciate you. Thanks for letting us hit goal. Thanks for helping us. Amy Stancombe got us over with her $2 donation. And then Bobby brought it home along with, did I say the other?
Yeah, it was a dude.
Amy Bordeaux, Bobby, and where's the other one come from? Hold on.
I thought it was a guy.
It was, but Olivia was in here checking shit. I want to make sure I got everybody.
Damn it, Olivia. Kidding.
If I missed you, I apologize. All right, everybody. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow on Friday. Have a good one. Say goodnight to Leeroy, Ethan. Whatever. What's your name, boy? Buddy. What is your name, boy? All right. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow. Sorry, Chuck. I didn't want to out your name again. I don't know if you wanted me to. It's Chuck Peterson. We'll all talk about it together.
Amy and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels.
It was Mel. It was Mel. It was Mel. Mel. Thank you, Mel. We love you. We appreciate you. You're the best. And yes, Leeroy and I are on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Bubba, thanks for being on tonight. Mel, call in next time. Love you guys. Good night.